everyone. Welcome to another week of Bet with the Genius, soccer betting genius, whatever you're going to call it. Anywho, another week. The good news is this UEFA Nations League is nearly done. Thankfully, these games are a little bit. It's I'll be honest, it's been a little bit much. It's like every day. There's something. It's so crazy. I feel like they played 17 weeks of UEFA Nations League in this first couple things. Just real quickly before we start, I'm on tonight 5:45 by the book bet talking soccer, and I'm going to probably talk NFC West futures, I think. NFC West over-under totals. Should be interesting. Remember, you got the $1,100 first bet insurance. We have a new promo code, though. Do not use the old promo code. The new promo code is CZR15. CZR15, new promo code. You go and you do it, use the new promo code. Make sure you follow all the Max Wagers Network all day, 6 hours of programming, and make sure you're liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell so we can keep bringing people on like our guest for the Monday and Thursday here. We'll bring them in here right now. AM Plus Money, how's it going? Did you watch any of those? These games are, I don't know anymore how to figure out how to handicap some of these games. They're driving me nuts.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's definitely been a lot to handle, and got to say I'm with you. I'm glad that it's coming to an end, especially with these last this fourth match days for this. It's just so hard to tell. These teams have already played 3 matches. You don't know who they're going to start, who they're going to rest. It's just it can really become difficult this deep into one of these breaks.
Yeah, I mean, just for France today, I mean, Mbappe and Benzema up top, but, they got, Kamara starting and Guendouzi, and it's like kind of half a team and half not a team. I know Tuchman came on. It's you try to, Denmark, Austria. I mean, Austria's looked so good, and all of today they look terrible. It's just this Australia-Peru game is 93rd minute now. It's into extra time, 0-0. I mean, I probably wouldn't have. I actually like the game tomorrow, the Costa Rica, New Zealand game, but this Australia-Peru game, I thought Peru would have came out and won, but yeah, it just shows you. I mean, it's just really tough. But how'd your bets do this weekend?
So we got killed the day right after the show on Thursday, so Friday there, just absolute awful. And it was again, it's this Croatia, France, Denmark, Austria group they just destroyed me with those 2 games. But corrected it on the weekend, had a nice weekend. There was some big ones like the Turkey -1.5.
Yep.
I said it was a fade spot for Portugal, and they lost to Switzerland. That was huge if you actually took the Switzerland on the money line. If you went with the double chance, still cashed. Great. Even the Faroe Islands there, that was a lean I had if you're looking for some early action, and they erased a deficit in that one.
Greece.
So, yeah, Greece came out, beat Kosovo, just like I said I was eyeing. And Georgia I was disappointed in, though. They looked really good in that game. They had like 10 shots, none of them on target. Couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I lost some money with that. But yeah, it's I did all right with the rugby. Although the game last night was the last place team beat the top 6 team 34 to 4 or 40. I don't even know. It was ugly.
What?
So that kind of was a bummer end to the thing. But tomorrow there's some. Obviously, last day of the Nations League until September, and then also the Costa Rica, New Zealand Interconfederation qualification playoff. So, let's jump right in here and say, I'm sure you're eyeing this Group 3 with England, Hungary, and Germany, Italy.
I love that group.
Yeah, it's interesting, and then obviously Group 4 with League A, Group 4 with Belgium, Poland, and Netherlands, Wales. So which game you want to start with today?
Well, I'm a little. I don't know what to do with this England-Hungary game because England now, I think they've drawn twice and lost once. So they've had kind of a pathetic run so far, 2 points out of a possible 9 there. And I kind of think this is just going to be a blow up spot for England. I think this might be one where you see their offense go off. They're at home. I would think they would want to get some points, at least come away from this four match break with at least a win. There's also, a little bit of the revenge factor. They lost in Hungary in the first match, 1-0. So they might be wanting to get that back. And from what I see, Hungary is not going to bring my guy, their goalie, Galashi. So definitely without Galashi in net, I don't see Hungary standing a chance. I was even looking at possibly England to keep a clean sheet because we know they haven't been scoring a lot, but they've definitely been playing well on defense. So
yeah,
I was thinking maybe this is the spot to just fade Hungary, take the clean sheet for England. And honestly, I kind of think England can just pull away with that one. Maybe the I don't know what the -1.5 is, but yeah, it's about even money.
It's like about -120. Yeah, -120, -115, something around there. So
yeah, so that might be as well.
Yeah, I think if England wins, it's probably -1.5 would probably be a pretty good play.
Yeah, definitely. That would be the way I would lean to that one. England with the clean sheet and -1.5 there. Because honestly, without Galashi in net, I don't see Hungary because he can really frustrate a team because he makes some good saves and then and it would make England's chances of scoring, I think, go way down than if he was in net. But absolutely, I don't see Hungary really standing much of a chance here, especially after I believe they just drew with Germany in Germany as well. So that was probably.
Yeah, you see, I mean, Hungary right now is second in the group. So I don't know how long that's gonna last. I mean, this should come down to the last. Let me see what the last weekend of the games is. Hungary plays Italy and England plays Germany on the last weekend. So, England really needs to win this because they have to host Germany and they go to Italy on September 23rd and host Germany on September 26th. So, probably not the easiest games there. So I think this is the game England has to win to really have a chance to stay in the group. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know. Do you like the other game at all, Germany, Italy, or not really?
Yeah, so I do like this game.
Okay.
I know I've got burned with them, but I'm gonna take Germany again. I don't like Italy. I just don't.
-134 in this game, so I think -130 I've seen. But yeah, I think Germany. Obviously I think even in the last game, they gave that quick goal, and I thought they played pretty well after that. But I haven't been super impressed with Italy. This group is weird. I mean, I know these teams are all pretty good, but haven't really been impressed with any of the teams outside of really Hungary. So.
And that's the thing, right? It's been like a lot of boring defensive play. It's like neither team really just wants to go out there and win it. They're happy with just, I don't know, passing it around for 90 minutes and coming out with the draw because England had their chances to beat Italy at home and that one just couldn't. But from what I gauge here, Italy, I don't think they're bringing, again, their guys like Insigne and Immobile. And I think, I'm not sure if Locatelli's going to start, but they definitely have. I don't know why they're still playing Donnarumma. From what I see, he's going to be making the trip, but their attack is going to be a little on the weaker side. So I would say in Germany, this is one that Germany's got to win. Italy's leading the group, obviously, so you want to knock them down a peg. You don't want to see them get any more points out of here, and this is a good spot for Germany to try and make that happen. I also was looking at, again, Germany to keep a clean sheet, because this is one I think Italy's going to struggle to score. If you've looked at their last 3 in this break, they're not scoring a lot of goals. They scored the 2 goals in one match and then the 1 in the other, but those were both at home. They came out with a 0-0 draw in England, and like they looked like they didn't even want to attack or bring any players to that one. So I'm expecting the same Italian team to show up to Germany here, not bringing their 2 best forwards, and I see them finding it difficult to score on Germany here.
Yeah, I think, obviously too. I think these lines have started to, I think the books have started to figure out like what's going on with some of the teams not bringing some of the players. Obviously, England minus 375 against Hungary, and Germany minus 134. I mean, I think that first game last week was both around plus 120, 130, or so now you see all these minus numbers, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The other big group is Netherlands, Wales, Poland, Belgium, and you see Belgium at plus 118 going to Poland, and they Belgium just beat Poland 6-1. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, it's all these matches, these days all kind of run together, but I think they just beat them.
Yeah, that was during this break.
5 days ago. So, and then you see now, I mean, Belgium's plus 118. So I don't know, Belgium maybe isn't bringing some players either to Poland. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, so De Bruyne is out of the lineup I saw for that one. He's not even going to make the trip there. He's already been ruled out. So, and I'm pretty sure Hazard's coming, but he's not going to be on the starting lineup. Like, they're rocking Batshuayi as their striker. So that's the one I was actually looking to fade Belgium in, because they haven't impressed. Both these teams, I think they've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 1 so far. I think they're right at the in the same spot in the standings, basically.
Yeah. So 4 points, and Netherlands on top with 7 points here.
Yeah, so this is one definitely I see. I don't know. I can't trust Belgium anymore. They've shown me that they don't want to try in these situations. They're not bringing a strong team. And from what I see from Poland, everybody's going to start. Lewandowski obviously is the big one. He's going to be on the pitch. So I expect Poland. I was actually looking more so for the over in that one, because I think the over will cover the bases, because you just saw Belgium won 6-1, and I think it was probably the first match day. But yeah, I kind of liked the over, just because I think Belgium, obviously we saw them score 6 goals on Poland. So if they do decide to come to play, I think this match can get over easily. But I was actually leaning to Poland in this one, and I think Poland can score 2 goals. So I think you can also get Poland over 1.5 team total at a pretty good price. And I kind of think that's
over plus 200 right now. So,
because we saw, like, in the first match, was it the first, in one of these matches during this break, Belgium went up against Netherlands and they just got ripped apart, and they were at home for that one. They let 4 goals. So yeah, that I could definitely see their defense slipping up in Poland here, and I think Poland can take advantage of it. They do have a good team, especially after a 6-1 blowout in Belgium. They're probably going to have a bad taste in their mouth too, and they're going to want to get
Poland scored 2 goals in 2 of the 3 matches here. So 2-2 against the Netherlands, and they were winning that game 2-0 too. After, like, I think it was right after halftime, they scored the second goal, and then there's 3 goals in 5 minutes. It was crazy in the second half. 49th minute, 51st, and 54th. So Netherlands fell behind by 2 goals, and then all of a sudden turned it on. But yeah, I think
they even took one away from the Netherlands in that one.
Yeah, and the over 1.5 here for Poland at minus plus 210. Look, they've scored 2 out of the 3 games. They've scored 2 goals in this. I mean, it's pretty interesting that they're given this plus 210 here. I mean, that's you don't see these over 1.5 goals plus 210 a lot of times for a team that has a decent chance to win. So if you can get that, I mean, you definitely jump on that.
Yeah.
And then Netherlands, Wales. I just, I think Netherlands is obviously the best team in the group right here. But I think Wales now at this point, the qualified, they're playing another game here. I don't know who's coming to the Netherlands for this game. Obviously, they don't think a lot of people are, because Netherlands is minus 315 here. Wales is plus 900. So maybe they don't think a lot of people are playing here.
Yeah, and I actually do think guys like DePay are going to start for the Netherlands as well, with this one being at home, because I don't think they started in the last one. They came on. Didn't they wait till they were down 2-0 to bring them on? And then all of a sudden, how quickly that changed the game there. So I think for sure.
I missed a penalty there at the end. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was, you know what? Maybe I was misremembering a taken away goal with the penalty, because I remember seeing the penalty and then I looked back and it was still 2-2, and I was like, wait, what happened there? Because I didn't have a chance to catch that game. But yeah, definitely. I was leaning towards the over just because from the lineups, this one being in Netherlands, I think it's going to be another just complete destruction of Wales. The Netherlands beat them in Wales 2-1 during this break, and that was one where they didn't even bring half their players, or maybe they brought them, but they didn't play them for sure, because that was a very weak lineup when they played against Wales. And they kind of like just defended that 1-0 lead, and then Wales scored in like the 90th or past the 90th in stoppage time. And it like 20 seconds later, the Netherlands scored again to win that game. So I thought they were fortunate in that one. But definitely, if the B team can do that, I think this is going to be a destruction. And I was looking, I think, at the team total over 2.5 for Netherlands, but I don't even know if you can get it at that good of a price right now.
Plus 150 right now. For this game, to me, is right now you can get total goals by Wales over a half a goal at basically minus 107, minus 105. I mean, Wales has scored in every game here. So, I mean, if they score a goal, you're winning your bet. I mean, I guess the thing that's crazy about this is, the over-under, they're saying over 2.5 is minus 134, right? But
yeah,
they're saying Wales over a half a goal is minus money too. So it's almost like, well, under is minus 122. So they're not expecting the Wales to score. So then, total goals by Netherlands over 2.5 is plus 148. So like if they think it's going to go over, one of those two team totals probably has to go over. So, I just kind of think that's a little bit interesting there. It's decent value, over half a goal on Wales minus 107. I mean, just if they score a goal, it's pretty. And then obviously halftime, full time. I think Netherlands halftime, full time is minus 120, which sometimes when I see these lines that are like minus 315, something like that, and you just expect them to go, score a couple goals early, just take the halftime, full time. If they're winning at halftime and they go on and win, I mean, it's almost decent value there. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I also lean over in general in that match too. So, and I totally agree with you. Like, to get it over, you're either going to need 3-0 Netherlands or a 2-1. So either way, one of those cashes, whether you want to take a chance on Wales to score a goal or the Netherlands over 2.5 at a good price. Someone's got to score. And I definitely see there being goals, especially if Netherlands are going to start some good players and Wales are going to be resting some people. This could be like an absolute destruction.
Yeah, I think that game's gonna be. There's a better chance. I guess it's like 5-1 than probably 1-0 there. Some of these, I don't know if these other games. Latvia, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Faroe Islands. I thought Luxembourg's actually played. I watched that game against Turkey the other day just because I bet them. I didn't think Luxembourg played too badly. I mean, that was really their only loss in the group so far. And they're minus 230 against Faroe Islands. I've actually been a little bit, I was actually pretty impressed that, you think Luxembourg, it's such a small country, but they actually played pretty well. And then, Latvia against Liechtenstein. Latvia is rolling right now in their group. I think they're 10 points. Get back here. See if I can pull this up. So far into this thing, the back button. where are they at? Luxembourg, Latvia, Liechtenstein. I think they're on 10. Or they're on 9. So they've won 3-0. Plus 6 goal difference. And the only thing about it is they're playing Liechtenstein, who's 0-3, but they're minus 4 goal difference. So they don't give a lot of goals in this game, and you got to lay a little bit of, you got a minus 1.5. I think is about even money. I don't know if you're looking at that game at all, or any of those smaller kind of minnow groups at all.
Not those ones specifically. But I do agree. Definitely, Luxembourg made me sweat for that Turkey minus 1.5.
Yeah, I
was
pretty stunned that I don't usually watch those games, the C and the D group games, but I was actually pretty impressed at how much. I say this, people are saying, why the Nations League? It is like we've talked about it on here. It's good. It gives these teams like a chance to win some games and get some confidence and play and get better, because you don't get better getting beat 8-0 every game. But they actually looked pretty good against Turkey in that game. Turkey scored, I think, in like the 75th minute to make it 2-0. But I was getting a little bit nervous there on the minus 1.5. But and same thing basically with Latvia. But and then you see Turkey once again against Lithuania. I mean, Turkey's minus 1667 in this game.
The spread is -3. Like, the books have totally caught on to this Turkey team. They're absolutely probably going to destroy Lithuania.
Yeah, it's tough because I mean, that's a lot of goals to lay, man. I mean, if they win 3-0, you don't even win your bet. I think the last time they played it was 6-0, but Turkey's 6-0, 4-0, 2 and 2-0. Turkey just doesn't give up goals, but just don't know about their motivation here. I mean, they basically won the group already, so they just if they win 2-0, if they go up 2-0 after 10 minutes, are they going to keep trying to score? Like, -3 that's a lot of goals to lay in one of these games. Minus 2.75 is minus 129. I don't know if you're thinking to lay that, or maybe I don't even know if you can get the team total. Turkey, it almost might be better to do team total over 3.5. I don't know which way you would go with that.
I actually wasn't going to touch this game. I only mentioned it because, like, just to show how the books have caught on to Turkey now. And I was disappointed when I saw it because, like, there's no value. I'm not taking Turkey -3. I don't care that they're at home. It's like I said, it's the end of the match day, and they've already won 3 games already. So I agree with you. I don't know. You don't know their motivation here. They've already won 3 straight. And just this Turkey team, like, there's no way you can bet it. Oh, team total over 3.5. You need them to score 4 goals. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting looking at some of these. I was looking at one other game. I don't know if it was Romania and Montenegro. I think, forget what their I looked at that, Romania and Montenegro. I think it's League B. Romania is 3 points. You know what? That's probably too tough a game to call. I don't know if you like that Ukraine-Ireland game at all. I've been impressed with the way Ukraine has bounced back from that game, or are you pretty much, kind of done with like these games outside the big groups here?
So Ukraine was definitely a team I looked at because I watched their last match where that one was 0-0 at halftime, and I went and bet them live, and I think I had to take the -1.5 at the halftime too, and they just came out in the second half and scored 3 goals. Like, they totally dominated that one, and ever since losing to Wales they've won both games, so they're not as crushed and demotivated as we thought they were going to be after that. So they might be looking at the Nations League as maybe let's just just focus on this, and then the next time the Euro Cup or the World Cup comes around, that'll be our chance. But I was definitely looking at them because Ireland hasn't really impressed me much. I don't think they're that great of a team, and I think the Ukraine is just better. They've shown that they can score goals and they play well on defense. So yeah, that was one team I was looking at for sure.
Yeah, it's minus 125. I think that's pretty interesting. And going back home to play, yeah, I definitely kind of looked at that. And then, there is the big game tomorrow. The World Cup qualification playoff is tomorrow at 2:00. Costa Rica against New Zealand. And let me actually just see if I can get this other score up from today. See if anybody scored in that game. Still 0-0. Nigeria with a big 10-0 win over Sao Tome and Principe. So that was pretty but yeah, this game tomorrow, Costa Rica minus 129, New Zealand plus 460. I don't know if you've looked at that, but any kind of play on that game?
Yeah, I don't really have a play on this one. Those are two teams that I don't look at too often, so probably won't really give them a good look until the World Cup. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you got to say on these two.
I think I think this Costa Rica team is pretty good. This game today, I'm gonna have to put that on if it goes to penalties, we might be putting that on there. But I think some people maybe you're scared away by this game today. I thought Peru would probably win pretty easily here, but I do like Costa Rica. I think just watching them play in that CONCACAF qualification, and this CONCACAF has gotten a lot better. I will say that. Like I've always been kind of pretty down on CONCACAF, but Canada obviously was really good. USA played pretty well at times. So I just think Costa Rica is probably the better team and probably gets it done. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of goals in the game. Let's see if I can pull this up. All right. So 115th minute here. If we go to penalties, I might have you talking about that. Been losing a lot of these games. Lots of favorites losing or tied. Yeah, Bill, look, I mean, we've been talking about this, I think, for like 4 or 5 days. I mean, there's just like this World Cup playoff compared to this is like a real game. Like these two teams are going to take this very seriously. Obviously, you go to the World Cup if you win. These Nations League games, I just don't think these teams are taking it. Like nobody, if you win the Nations League title, I mean, I know France won and Portugal. I just don't think they care. I mean, they're really just using it as a chance to get ready for the World Cup. I mean, there's no way this France team, if they were taking this tournament seriously, would have, no wins in 4 games. There's just no way. This team is so much better than that. And I bet you now, if you look at this, see if you could pull it. Let me see if I can get the futures. I mean, I bet I know the futures on France have been dropping. You see now they're down to 650. I haven't dropped a lot, but they dropped from 550 to 650 because of this. I think some of these teams, the books have said, you know what, they're not that good. They're losing these games, but there's no way this is their lineup when they play the first game. Mike Mignon's not going to be in goal. Lucas Digne's not going to be at left back. Rabiot's not going to be in there. Maybe Nkunku will be. These two will be up top. That's definite. Koundé might be there, but it's, they obviously Pavard comes in, Tchouameni comes in, Coman comes in, Griezmann comes in. I think like they started to play their better players at that point, but this is not going to be their team. So I just, they're not really taking this seriously. At some point, you think you have to because they're going to get relegated to the next group up. I don't even know if that matters to them, but there's no way that if they were taking this seriously, like if this is a World Cup qualifier for a playoff, that this is their lineup. And that's the problem. Like, you just don't know. Like, we're talking about these games tomorrow, 24 hours from now. And like, I just don't know what these, we can both tell you like who we think are going to play and who we think might take it seriously and who might not take it seriously. But I've kind of been backing off some of these games that I would normally be betting. Like if this was a World Cup qualification or UEFA qualification with an actual tournament or qualification, I would be all over more of these games. But I can't really bet like Bosnia Herzegovina against Finland. That's actually like this game here. This is actually pretty good value for Bosnia at plus 104, but you just don't know. Like it doesn't mean anything, so probably won't bet it. But Germany, Italy. If these two teams are playing in the World Cup, but it's obviously not going to happen because Italy's not going to be there. But that line's not going to be Germany minus 134 and Italy plus 370. It's just because Italy's not bringing their players and. It's just been weird, but not saying that Italy could go out in that game and get a 1-1 draw because they could just sit everybody behind the goal, sit everybody behind the ball, and maybe it's a interesting game. So it's just really tough to do it. And AM said the same thing. I mean, I've said it like some of these things we've just been struggling to in the games, and it's almost like you have to. I don't know, like maybe just say, you know what, I'm just going to not bet these games until, some real games. Like next week is UEFA Champions League qualification. And like teams are going to be taking these things for like seriously. That's like next week we'll start, seeing games where it's like, all right, I'm going to, I have a definite play on these games. For now, it's almost like you hear us kind of talking. It's like, kind of, I like this. I kind of like this, but. I mean, I think that's how you feel, right?
Oh, definitely. Like these, like you said, you can't really get a good feel until you even see the lineup. And with these, when you're questioning the motivation of these teams, like we saw Italy doesn't even care when it's a World Cup qualifying. So who knows if France cares about UEFA Nations League at all. So I totally agree with you where like, it's all just kind of, I kind of like this, but check the lineup before you bet it type thing.
Austria just subbed on their goalkeeper in the 120th minute. So I always think that's interesting. You got to – I think this is just – it's a one-off playoff this year too. It's not two legs. So – this is it. You win, you go to the World Cup, you lose, you're out. So be interesting if Australia Oceania gets another team, or I guess they're Asia. Australia's the Asian group qualification. But I just just going back to that the World Cup qualification for tomorrow, just quickly. I do like Costa Rica. I don't, you see the over-under is minus 1.5. I just don't think they think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. Over 2 is plus 100. Under 2 is minus 125. So that's like, probably over 1.75 is minus 141. So they don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. I mean, I would probably take a chance on, maybe doing 1-0 on Costa Rica, plus 400, 2-0, maybe plus 400. I think I would take Costa Rica in this game. I just think they're a better team. But yeah, I mean, I started to look at some of these games. I don't know if you've looked at you talked about you like the Brazilian league, right?
I do like the Brazilian league. Yeah.
I like the Thursday game, Palmeiras and Atletico go. It's at 5 o'clock on Thursday. They didn't have the lineup earlier when I wanted to talk about it. But I do like that because Palmeiras is leading the league. They're minus 286. Have you looked at any of those games at all?
So I did take a glance at the Thursday. I didn't look too deep into them because I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about the Brazilian league. But, it's tough for me to say because, again, just like UEFA Nations League, a lot of these teams have called back their players for the I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but they're playing with their national with their national team. So it's tough for me to say. That's why I've been staying off the MLS, or maybe I would have had some MLS plays too. But I kind of just want the international to end. And then, because even with that game being Thursday, there's games
I just don't know who's going to play.
Who's gonna get back in time, and even if you do get back in time, are you gonna get played when you just played for your country? So it's tough to say. I'd like to wait it out till maybe the weekend, and then see, because it's almost like they kind of shoved these in a Thursday, which is odd for me because normally that would be on a Wednesday. So the fact that all these games are on Thursday, it's like they were trying to just get them in there.
There's a game tonight. There's a game on Tuesday. There's a lot of games on Wednesday, and then there's
this Wednesday. Oh, my bad.
So they're spread out all over the place. I would think, I don't know. I guess maybe these players are back because Botafogo's playing Avaí tonight. But there's not a lot. When you see the lines, I mean, most of the games are both teams plus money. There's only a couple games where it's not like that. Palmeiras, obviously, against the Let It Go. Palmeiras leading the league is one of them. But, yeah, and I think they do play I know they play because you got the CONCACAF games. I think they do play on Saturday or the weekend. I think there's some games on the weekend. Yeah. 19th. There's a lot of games on the 19th, and there's a game on the 20th. So I don't know if these are just makeup games or what they're doing. It's kind of weird. It's like you said, they kind of just jammed a bunch of games in from Monday through Sunday, and some of these teams are playing 2 games, and some of them aren't. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason because they do these international break, and then they mainly did it for Europe, but it's kind of then there's the World Cup qualifier matches going on as well with the international break, and they kind of just disregard the teams on this side of the planet, and now it's maybe their schedule got disrupted and they've had to fit a few in there. So it's hard. It's really hard for me to say because I kind of, when the international break comes around, I kind of stop looking at clubs because honestly, I don't care even in the MLS, when I go back to handicapping it for this weekend, I'm going to look at their last 2 games if they played during this international break, and I'll take some into account, but I'll likely disregard a lot of the results because I'll be well, this team was missing these guys. So, obviously they would have been a huge favorite at home with their players, but they ended up losing that one. So the stuff like that the international breaks just bother me that way. It's for me, it's one or the other. Either you focus on the international or the clubs.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to look at both at the same time.
It's interesting. I just looking at these Copa Sudamericana odds here. It's the Brazilian teams all there. Sierra who's in 12th place in the Serie A is third choice here. Obviously, Sao Paulo, third place. Internacional in fourth place, 1 and 2, and then Copa Libertadores, Atletico Mineiro is favored. Palmeiras as well, but it's really heavily, obviously, Brazilian teams near the top. I mean, the league is just, I think clear of any other league down in South America at this point. I know the Argentinian league is pretty good, but Like
I was
the
gonna say there's
Brazilian
a
league is
few teams from Argentina that are like that could compete with the Brazilian, but I agree in the sense that Brazil it's the same top teams like the Palmeiras, the Sao Paulo, Santos is another one. Flamengo is usually up at the top. They're not playing great right now though, but yeah, Atletico Mineiro, they're coming off. I think they had a fantastic Serie A last time, but it's also tough with these teams because they kind of play the City A, and then when that ends, they play their Carioca, and there's a bunch of like different leagues that they play in throughout their off season as well, and it's so much soccer. I can't actually believe
the like it's like the county tournaments they have. Yeah, it's just it's so crazy. They play these county things. Oh, my lights just went out. Oh, that's interesting. I lost power here. I'm in the dark. I have to figure that out. My fuse keeps blowing here in my little cubby hole, so I have to figure that out. We got an electrician coming, so we shall see. I think it has something to do with upstairs. Somebody's cooking something in with the air fryer or something like that. But,
good old air fryer.
Let me get the.
I think France just lost again. I believe that one kind of just disappeared on me, but I think that one's official.
I mean, that is just amazing. They just
again,
1-0.
They let in an early goal, and it's like you just never recovered from it.
Yeah, I in the 5th minute. I'm going to be honest. They won the title in 20. I think they're the most talented team, but they're just a little bit fragile. And I know, like every other tournament, they do well. They played. They really did well in 2016. They got to the final. 2018, they won it. Obviously, 2021, they won the Nations League. They've won a lot of these tournaments here, but when they just don't. Sometimes they don't play well. It's just they're really, really a weird team to me. Like I don't know, just watching some of these. I don't want to be shifted off taking them to win the World Cup just because of these games, which probably don't matter. But I just know sometimes they're a little bit fragile, and maybe they aren't going to win it. Maybe I could be looking at a team like Germany at plus 1100, or
I think the Netherlands.
Netherlands at plus 1400. Yeah. The only thing with them always has been like the striker, who's going to score the goals. I know Memphis has been scoring the goals here. And if they can get somebody to score goals with this team, they're going to be really dangerous, especially in that group. So as we're getting ready to go to penalties here. But so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for today. I don't know if you had any other games you were looking at in the next couple days.
That's about it. I'm just happy that tomorrow's the last day, and then get back to some normal clubs.
I know. I'm so sick of it at this point. All right, so make sure you're liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell, and we're gonna have and plus money. Go follow him on Twitter right there, and then he's going to be back on Thursday to talk a little bit more about the weekend games. No international games for till next week. Oh, Peru saved the first one, so that's interesting. So make sure you're watching all day, and then remember, the $1,100 first bet insurance. We have a new promo code CZR15 at the bottom, and then I'll be on tonight at 5:45 on Monumental Sports Network by the book bets. I'm going to be on at 5:45 and for a half hour, 6:05, talking soccer, and then some NFL. I don't know what order. We're going to talk about the NFL West. So anyway, we will see you tomorrow, and I'll see you on Thursday. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on. Always a great time.
All right. See you tomorrow.